Messi should come back to Barcelona. I think at this point it's obvious he should come back, but I'm gonna go more in depth to it. Now, there's been recent rumors. It's been almost confirmed that Messi will be missing the next game for PSG. Uh, Now, the media took this as Messi had an argument with Galtier, the coach of PSG, and he basically missed training on that. However, his dad, Jorge Messi, who is his agent, and a lot of people around it, they were just saying that Messi did have a slight injury and he doesn't want to risk it for the next game. And I'm gonna say this right now, PSG fans, some y'all are the most. I think this is the fandom that is most entitled, but you don't have that entitlement yet. Like, don't get me wrong. I think PSG fans should want a Champions League. I think that is what PSG fans. That's what they want most because winning the Liga doesn't feel special anymore. The Coupe de France or whatever other tournaments and the Ligue Uber Eats they have, but the sheer amount of disrespect the French media has given to Messi is BS. I know there's been conversations about who is the leader of PSG, who is the face of PSG, and I feel like it depends who you ask. If you're someone who you think Messi is like the best, I think you'll say Messi. If I think most French people would say Mbappe. I do think PSG fans have more of a appreciation for Mbappe because he's played longer. Not only that, but most PSG fans are French, so there's kind of like that inherent vibe. It's kind of like me. I like seeing Latin American players do well. I like seeing Central American players do well. If a Mexican player is doing well, I'm half Mexican, half Salvadorian. So when I see players from these countries do well, I'm always gonna love them far more than any other player. Same thing with American players. Christian Pulisic, I want to see him succeed in Chelsea. Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie. There's a lot of great players, and I feel like that there's always that inherent bias, and I think that's okay. But I've always hated the whole notion that Mbappe is the face of PSG, but yet when Bayern Munich knocked out PSG, everyone was talking about Messi. They were like, "Where's Messi? Where's Messi? Where is he?" And look, Messi is the greatest player of all time. As a Barcelona fan, appreciating what he's done for the club is amazing because I genuinely, it's hard to explain to someone who's not a Barcelona fan or who is not an Argentina fan how great and how influential Messi was to the club. I've never seen a player like him. I don't think I ever will. I've never even seen a player come close. And I feel like PSG fans will never really get that because you got Messi in an awkward time. Messi never really wanted to leave Barcelona. I mean, yeah, the year before he there was rumors about it. He wanted to leave, but he didn't. And then eventually that year he didn't want to leave, but of course was forced to. So it was already a sticky situation. He probably didn't even know French, a bit of French, before going. He probably didn't expect to move to another country, another culture. Because remember, he went to Barcelona when he was like, what, 13, 14, somewhere around that age, and he's 30 something now. I mean, imagine how baffling it must be to go from Spain to France all of a sudden. Like, it's crazy to think about. But I don't think PSG appreciates Messi. And the thing is, I don't care what anyone says. I've seen the PSG games. I've seen how Messi plays with them. Messi, any other player doing what Messi does would have been celebrated. If it was De Bruyne doing the same thing, it was Mohamed Salah or any of them, everyone would have been like, goat, goat, goat. But because Messi is the GOAT, there's almost like this standard of Messi has to do everything. But the thing is, and I've learned this long enough as somebody who's been watching football since 2006, or 2000, or not 2006, 2008, somewhere around there. Ever since then, I've seen players come and go, and I've always learned that you got to have a team. And I'm sorry, but PSG have no midfield. I've watched PSG games and their midfield is awful. I'll even say this, their best midfielder is Messi. The way he drops back, the way he's able to throw in crosses, the way he's able to visualize the pitch. Sure, he isn't the lethal scorer he once was, but I mean, he's in his almost late 30s. So like, I mean, even doing what he does now, like for someone that age is really impressive. Like very few players, like Luka Modric, Ronaldo. I mean, there's very few players that get to that age and are still really good. But what I don't like about the midfield is Vitinha. It's Verratti. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this right now. Marco Verratti is the most overrated midfielder. I used to rate him. I remember back in 2017, Barcelona were heavily linked to Verratti, and I wanted him. But over the years, I've seen Verratti, and I'm sorry, but he's not good. I mean, sure, he'll have a couple of decent games, but think about it. Usually, with every midfielder, you can think of a performance. With Iniesta, you can think the World Cup final in 2010. With Modric, you can think his campaign to the 2018 World Cup. With Toni Kroos, you can think of the 2017 UEFA Champions League season. Casemiro, same thing. Xavi, whether you're talking about a final in 2011. But with Verratti, when you think of a performance, you don't really think of anything. Like like maybe when they beat Barcelona 4-0 back in 2017, but even then Verratti wasn't really the standout. That was more Di Maria, Julian Draxler, and Edison Cavani. And to me, seeing all how fake rumors are spread about Messi, how they weren't even willing to do a ceremony because every player gets like a little ceremony for the World Cup. Look, and I know France, they're not happy about it, but like I just think that if you have a player that wins a World Cup in your country, I think, especially when you're a country that won the World Cup 4 years prior, I feel like you should do something special. Be like, hey, to the Argentine players, although then again, Di Maria. Wait, no, Paredes no longer plays. Or, well, Messi's the only Argentine in PSG now. It's like, just do something special. Just be like, hey, we have a World Cup winner. Maybe don't even present the trophy, anything like that. And not only that, but giving Mbappe all this privilege, like having him all of a sudden now be able to hire people, getting sporting director, being able to part of the sporting project. To me, I just don't think Messi should be in PSG. Uh, and I think he should come back to Barcelona, whether it's for a year or two. I think he'd be perfect. Right now, I think there's a young core at Barcelona that has a bright future ahead of ourselves, and I think we are. I think, and I'm saying this right now. I think Barcelona has a new golden generation that still needs some time to grow, right? If we think about early 2006, 2007, you started having players like Xavi, Puyol, Iniesta. You started seeing a lot of youngsters shine. Then later on, Messi, that was the big jackpot. Then you got Busquets, that was another major hit. Barcelona built out this golden generation, and they were able to win 3 UEFA Champions League, multiple La Ligas. They were able to win, or not three, there was 4 Champions Leagues. There was multiple trophies, and at one point in 2010, all 3 Ballon d'Or nominees were Barcelona players. I remember that was like the peak of Barcelona. We had Xavi, Iniesta, and Messi, and I remember being like, man, this is life right here. This is Barcelona. And I think right now Barcelona is at that point where we do have a golden generation. I feel like there's players like Alejandro Balde, Pedri, Gavi, Ansu Fati. There's a lot of young players. Iñaki Peña maybe even could. And I think right now what we need is some experience. Sure, we have Busquets. Sure, we have Ter Stegen, Sergio Roberto. But I feel like Messi is a whole nother level. World Cup winner, Champions League winner, 7 Ballon d'Or winner. Like, this is a guy I don't think you'll ever see better experience than Messi, because he's genuinely done everything possible. Everything. That's why to me Messi's the GOAT. Every conversation you can have, Messi knocked it out of the park. Right? It used to be no international trophy, you won it. He can't do it outside of Barcelona. He did it with PSG. He did it with Argentina. World Cup winner, whatever you want to say. The only thing you could probably take against him is, oh, Pele had 3 World Cups. That's literally the only thing you can have in the conversation. But even then, that means that, Maradona can't be in the conversation if you use that logic. Just saying. But I think he should come back. Now, there's going to be some issues. That would mean that because our right wing position needs help. Ousmane Dembele, he's been an amazing player. I think he's been one of the better Barcelona players this year. But the guy is injury prone. The guy is very injured. And I feel like we can no longer look at Dembele and think, we trust you. He needs to be a guy who every time he's fit, he should be on the pitch. And I think he can play the left wing perfectly. Just that he can't be someone we look at and just hope that he never gets injured, because he's going to get injured. Every year he's gone injured. We can't trust him. Rafinha, he's been good, but he's also been inconsistent. Ferran Torres especially has been incredibly disappointing this year. And I think right now Barcelona needs a consistent player. That's something Messi offered so much. Barcelona, I've never seen a more consistent player than Messi, because to me he is the GOAT. the GOAT of all GOATs, right? Um, and I think Barcelona really needs that guy with that experience to help the younger people. I also think it could lay off some pressure off of Ansu Fati, who took up the number 10 after Messi left. And I feel like Ansu has not shined since then. I feel like Ansu is still that amazing player that has a bright future, but I feel like part of it is that there's too much pressure on the kid. I just don't think that he should have the pressure of Messi. And I know everyone's going to argue, oh, Messi at that age had the number 10. But yeah, but that's because Messi was the greatest player. It became the greatest player of all time. And every other player shouldn't be expected to be the next Messi. And I don't think Ansu will ever reach those heights. But I do think he's a young, talented player who, if developed properly, can do something well. Not only that, but Messi has a close connection to Xavi. They played together for years, right? And still, even till this day, Xavi says that he's close to Messi. And I feel like having another, because I think Busquets wants to leave, I feel like having another guy that Xavi played with would be beneficial for the club. Someone that he knows, a player that is consistent, confident, everything, right? And then the way he left was the most, it was the saddest, worst way to leave a player with the value that Messi has go. You know, it was unfortunate because Messi wanted to stay. He thought that Laporta was creating a great project. And unfortunately, because of Javier Tebas' BS, worst president in European football, by the way, I think La Liga needs to get rid of that guy. But, you know, because of his stupid wage rules, Messi had to go. And he didn't have a ceremony. He didn't have nothing. I mean, yeah, he had the little ceremony, but he didn't get to say goodbye to the Camp Nou. It was unexpected, right? I remember the final game of the season. It was against Eibar, and we won like 3-0. But, you know, Messi didn't play it because he wanted to stay fit, because there was like an injury issue and the Copa America was coming up, and he wanted to stay healthy, he wanted to stay fit, right? And, you know, yeah, that final game, he didn't even get to play it. And seeing how he had to just go all of a sudden, again, like I said earlier, he didn't plan this. He was just kind of told last second. He left in August too, so he didn't even get preseason with PSG. Just made it 10 times worse. And I think Messi deserves a proper farewell. Bring him back for a season or two and give him that Xavi, Iniesta type of farewell. I just think a player like Messi deserves to say goodbye, because not only is he the greatest player Barcelona has ever had, top goal scorer, most appearances, everything, but he's also a once in a lifetime player. You know, there's Pele, there's Maradona, there's Ronaldo, there's Messi, Zidane, you know, and these are players that should be appreciated heavily, especially by the clubs, for the clubs they contribute to, right? Before Messi came in, Barcelona only had one UEFA Champions League. Now they have five, right? Um, and I think he even has the most trophies in history. I believe. Or I think he's close enough with Dani Alves, something like that. But he's definitely the most impressive. When you look at the resume, I don't think there's a better player with a better resume than Lionel Messi. Sure, you could argue Pele with 3 World Cups, but that's literally the only argument, you know, out there. But no, I just think the way PSG. I mean, don't get me wrong. When Messi was in Barcelona, look, the Spanish media is always gonna have a bias against Barcelona. I've learned that over the past decade. There is a political reason as to why Madrid gets a lot of favoritism over Barcelona. You know, one's the capital of Catalonia, the other's the capital of Spain. I think if you search up the history of all that, you'll find that. I don't want to talk about that, but uh, Barcelona. I mean, Messi would always get that. I remember when Liverpool made their comeback and beat us 4-0 at Anfield. I remember all the blame was Messi. Messi's always gonna get the blame. But with PSG, what frustrates me is that you praise Mbappe, you make him out to be the face of PSG. But when PSG lost, I look at all the articles. Everyone, who did they talk about? Lionel Messi. Mbappe wasn't even being referenced, right? It's like Mbappe is the safe spot. They're like, no, 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 don't cry about Mbappe. But Messi, yeah, he is the true evil goer. Look at Messi's stats. He's been doing really good this year. Right, sure, he's not GOAT conversation wise, at least in PSG in his form, but still, like, he is amazing. He's brilliant. I've seen the PSG games. He's been phenomenal, or not phenomenal, but pretty good. And I just think PSG fans don't appreciate Messi. The way that they were gonna protest Messi. What PSG, and by the way, I'm being completely honest to my PSG fans. Messi is not the problem at PSG. I do think he represents a part of the problem of PSG, which is the whole spend on big names. No, they don't have any sporting direction. It's just let's just hope these good players do well. But the thing is, you need a core. You need. I think they really need a project, and I don't think PSG has that. I mean, their midfield's awful. How do you have Vitinha and Soler and Verratti and yet blame Messi for not being able to create scenarios with that midfield? I'm sorry, but first of all, even that Bayern game, look at those errors by Verratti. No one talked about the Verratti errors. And then Vitinha missed an open goal. Like, how you kick it that soft? But yet Messi is to blame. And I find that stupid. And I the PSG era has failed, and to me, Messi should not spend his last few years at the top of his career playing for a fan base that doesn't appreciate him. Right? It's why I still say this. I think Ronaldo should have stayed at Real Madrid. I know he didn't want to compromise to Florentino Perez, but he should have stayed at Madrid because Juventus. I don't think Juventus appreciate him enough. Manchester United. Although then again, the Manchester United thing was stupid. I feel like that was just Ronaldo being a little diva. But still, if you wanted to be loved, you stay at Real Madrid. Madrid fans love you. Sure, they criticize you, but that's because Madrid has high priorities, right? And that's the difference. Like, it was like in Real Madrid when they criticized Ronaldo, it was more like, hey, we want you to do better. With PSG, it's just more like, oh, we don't want to blame Mbappe. He's the poster boy. He's French. So let's not criticize Mbappe. But Messi, he is Argentine. He beat France in the final. And he helped Barcelona win. So let's use Messi as a scapegoat. And that just doesn't sit well with me. I'm not saying Messi is shield of any arguments against him. I'm just saying, why is it that he's the only one being blamed at PSG? Everyone that watched the game knows damn well that it wasn't just him. And if you want to talk about disappearing, Mbappe didn't do shit against Bayern. He didn't do nothing. I didn't see him do shit. So why is it now all of a sudden it's just Messi? You know, but that's just my thoughts. You guys let me know in the comments what you think about this. Whatever you think, let us know in the comment sections. I think Messi should come back, but that's just me. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Visca Barça y Visca Catalunya.
Where do you go to? Where do you go? Where do you go to? I wanna know. How do you do it? That thing you do. Follow you blindly, I'll be your fool. Cinderella.